With the hero of this story, we will delve into the world of virtual reality and RPG, where life is at stake. Enjoy the viewing. While Ran dealt with the enemies outside, Colin and Maggie were in the shelter. The girls heard explosions, the sound of which echoed throughout the city. Maggie was very worried about the hero. Colleen hugged her friend tightly and tried to calm her down. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. The girls were even more frightened. Colleen plucked up courage to see who was trying to get in. Rand's voice sounded behind the door. The brunette laughed to open the door. The boy came back into the shelter. He was covered in bruises and abrasions. Colleen hurried Maggie over to give the player first aid. The blonde was dressing the hero's wounds. Ran requested that the girl teach him the skill. Maggie was not against it. A window with information about the new useful skill popped up in front of the hero. Basic knowledge in medicine was now available to Ran. Colleen began to question her friend about what was happening to him upstairs. Ran wasn't hiding anything from his friends. He believed that this night would completely change the course of the confrontation with the rebels, and soon, order would be restored in the city again thanks to the forces of the government. Colleen was surprised that her friend was the cause of such a grand change in the life of the city. Suddenly, red-colored information windows appeared in front of Ran. It said that the player would be leaving the level in 5 minutes. He had to hurry to gather all the items that could be taken out of the level with him. If the limit was exceeded, the items would be considered ones that couldn't be taken out. The boy was puzzled. He had collected a lot of cool loot over the course of the game, and all of his loot would definitely not fit within the allotted limit. Ran began to quickly pack his backpack. He took with him a sniper rifle, 2 rocket launchers, a pistol, and grenades. As he put these in his backpack, the guy thought about the fact that he didn't know what his item limit was. Colleen approached the player. The girl noticed that the friend had started packing. She asked if Ran was going to keep them. The player looked at his friend carefully. Even though she was a simple NPC, but she became a real friend for the guy without whom it would be extremely difficult to survive here. Their parting was inevitable. Ran sincerely thanked the girl for her help and said goodbye. At that moment, he began to be carried out of the shelter. The sensation was strange. It was the same feeling he had experienced when he first immersed himself in the dungeon. Ran felt a solid surface beneath his feet. The boy looked around carefully. This was strange. Game Hall was different from the one he remembered. Ran speculated that the creators of the game might have redesigned the user's office. Suddenly there were loud noises. This shocked the hero. Ran drew his pistol to be able to defend himself in case of an attack. A notification appeared in front of the hero that Steam City and Iron Tank guilds had engaged in a confrontation. Players were asked not to leave their personal offices to avoid trouble. The information impressed the guy. He didn't think he would see such a showdown in a game of this magnitude. Then, Ran looked at the report on passing the beginner dungeon. The hero handled all of the level's tasks perfectly. He completed the main objective in 3 days. The side task of rescuing civilians was completed at 200% because Ran saved 2 NPCs, got special marks for destroying rebel leaders. Hero earned 3,000 points, 3 skill points and 1 gold skill point. Beginner dungeon final eval S. Ran was ecstatic. His stats were much better than any beginner player. The guy decided that if he did as well in every dungeon, he could quickly become the strongest player, and thus collect the money he needed faster. Next, new windows with information appeared in front of the guy. In one he was offered to go to the forum, open a store or dungeon channel. In others there was a description of opportunities in this or that place, which the player would choose to go to. It was the red boxes that caught Ran's attention. The first note warned that single-player dungeon, cooldown time 1 week after each entry. The second said multiplayer dungeon, at least 2 people, cooldown time 1 month after each entry. The third one said that it was necessary to enter the dungeon every 3 months, otherwise the player would lose all his skills and achievements, and the character would be considered dead. The last entry made Ran wonder. Did it say that the character would be dead in the game, or would a similar thing await him in real life? The guy knew that the game was banned precisely because many people who played it died. The hero had more questions than answers to them. That's why Ran decided to look around in the menu. The guy was prompted to enter his nickname, since it was his first time entering the chat room. Ran decided that thinking about the meaning of the words in the notes was useless right now. He didn't have enough money to pay his hospital bill. Therefore, the right thing to do would be to visit the game's forum and store. Ran took a set of numbers 2567 as his nickname. He liked to play on this platform. The hero wanted to increase his skill level. He was greatly surprised to realize that the 3,000 points he had earned for completing the initial level of the game were actually insignificant. In order to increase his firearm skill by +1, he needed to spend 1,500 points. Ran spent all of his points to pump this skill up to proficiency. The guy started thinking about what he could sell at a higher profit to get more points. The pistol on the forum was valued at 1,000 points. At the same time, rocket launchers were worth more. Ran had 2 of them. The hero chose the sell option. A trading table appeared in front of him, indicating that the player should put on its surface what he wants to sell. Ran entered his wishes for the value of the game attribute into the dialog box. He valued his loot at 10,000 points and 5 skill points. Instantly, information about the lot appeared. Users began to actively discuss the novelty. Some players thought that the cost of rocket launchers is overestimated and offered their own price. One player even offered Ran an invitation to the guild for such a lot. The hero was impressed by how quickly his item became popular. The highest price was offered by a player with the nickname Lawless. The player offered 6,000 points and 3 skill points for the item. Ran thought about it. His lot was really interesting to a lot of people. It seemed to him that there was someone on the forum strongly interested in buying it. The next moment, Lawless sent a friendship request to Ran's private messages. The hero grinned. This player was proving to be really impatient. Ran thought that this guy probably needed to solve some problems right away. Ran started a correspondence with Lawless. He, as well as the other players, thought that the price Ran had set was overpriced. Lawless explained his position because one system could only fire 1 missile at a time. And if it didn't hit the target once, another rocket launcher would be needed. Besides, 1 rocket launcher costs 500 points in the store. Ran thought for a moment. Suddenly, there was a notification that the item was sold for 10,000 points and 5 skill points. The hero was happy with the outcome of the transaction. He thought that he would get much less than that. Lawless was shocked. Members of the same guild had knocked down his price. Ran grinned. He texted his new friend that he had more for sale. Lawless was surprised. He even wondered if Ran had robbed the armory. The player asked to see everything Ran had and promised to offer a fair price for everything. Ran raised the price on the next rocket launcher. The player offered Ran a single-player dungeon acceleration cooling card, 2,000 points, and 1 skill point. Ran looked up the information on the single-player dungeon acceleration cooling card. It allowed him to freeze time. Ran was impressed. Time is really a resource that will be important to the hero. With extra time, Ran would be able to get stronger, get more ammunition and convert it into real money. Ran raised the number of points a bit besides the card. Lawless raised the cost to 4,000 points and 2 skill points. The hero looked at how many points he had earned. His information window showed that Ran had 17,000 points, 10 skill points, and 1 gold skill point. Ran opened the attribute panel to upgrade his skills. He was happy that he was able to upgrade unarmed combat to effect B. Ran was now able to fight using only his legs at a professional level. He also upgraded his other skills to proficient. They were firearm, tracking, cold weapon, evade, stealth, medical bandaging and medical knowledge. Ran felt great. He was glad that he had improved so many of his skills. He felt a rush of strength and new knowledge. An information window appeared in front of the hero with a proposal to move to the next level of the game. Ran was surprised that the FOMO dungeon task became available so quickly. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave comments to help the new video come out as soon as possible. Have a great day.
Didn't even get to browse.